Hello, and welcome back to another Tales from My Backlog, where I finally am getting on to the third installment into the Rocky franchise. Yes, it's time for me to take a whack and see how many rounds I can go with Rocky 3. So, I literally just finished watching it, and what were my thoughts? Well, I enjoyed it just as much as the first and more than the second. So yeah, basically, Rocky 3 has a 3-year time skip, where Rocky has been doing a bunch of fights, but there's somebody else who's been watching these fights and going off and doing his own fights, and that is none other than Mr. T. Yes, Clubber Lang. He's gone and doing his own stuff because he wants to take out the champ because he sees the champ as a chump. And he says that multiple times, that he thinks he's a chump. And so they eventually set up a fight not long after Rocky gets a statue in Philadelphia. They go to fight, and Rocky loses within on the second round due to a knockout. Yes, he unfortunately loses his title as heavyweight champion in this movie. And not only that, after he loses, his coach and mentor, Mick, dies. Yes, he dies thinking that Rocky won. Now, Mick was trying very hard to have Rocky not fight Clubber because he knew Clubber would have defeated him. And it turns out that a lot of Rocky's fights were kind of safe fights, because Rocky should have lost his heavyweight title a long time ago, but his coach wanted to give him some somewhat easy wins, so that way he kind of keeps his title that bit longer and stuff. So it's as I said, after his first fight with Clubber, he loses the title, and with as well the death of his coach, he kind of goes into a spiraling depression, not knowing what to do with his life. He's not even pursuing trying to reclaim his title, and it takes Apollo to train him. Yes, Apollo from the first two movies is training him, which I was not expecting. I really didn't think in this movie I would see Apollo until at least the next movie when he loses to the Ruski in that one. But he's in this one and he trains Rocky the same way he trained when he became the heavyweight champion, going out to California and that. And it's not until a heart to heart with Rocky's wife that kind of gets him back into the mindset. They finish the training for when they are going to fight Clubber Lang for the second time. And in that fight, the rematch, Rocky does do that. He holds his own for the first two rounds, and then on round three, he's starting to get into Clubber's head, which then led to him getting angry and losing focus and not concentrating, which then, of course, led Rocky to take the W. So yeah, then at the end of the movie, Rocky gets his title back, and I actually really love how this movie ends with it teasing the rematch between Apollo and Rocky, because whilst Apollo has been training Rocky, he's like, yeah, I'm going to do this for you, you're going to win, and then you owe me a favor. That favor was a rematch because, Rocky apparently won because of 1 second. Had it been 1 second longer, Apollo would have gotten up and he would have kept his title. And I love the fact that it doesn't show us that. It doesn't show us the rematch because we don't need to see it. As much as it would have been cool to see that rematch, I'm happy not knowing the outcome of that. Maybe they might cover it in when I get around to the fourth movie sometime next year. But as it stands, I'm happy not knowing. So I really enjoyed this movie. As I said, I honestly did not see Rocky and Apollo becoming very good friends, and Apollo training Rocky to the point where he even gave Rocky he loaned Rocky his shorts that Apollo wore on their first fight. And the only kind of gripe that I have about this movie is the fact that it doesn't really show Rocky's son all that often. Yes, we do see him, but he's kind of not focused on at all. That was kind of one of the big major things with the second movie is, Adrian's pregnant, she goes into labor, she loses a lot of blood. Their son Rocky Jr. Is fine, and we do, as you know, we do see him in this, but he just wasn't all that focused on, which I would have loved to see more. Another thing that I was really surprised at was seeing Hulk Hogan in this movie. I remember seeing that wrestler come out and I was like, hey, that kind of looks like Hulk Hogan. And then I looked up who was in this movie. I was like, oh, it was Hulk Hogan. Because for a second, Hulk Hogan didn't look like Hulk Hogan. See, I know the way I see Hulk Hogan is the way he looks now, not when the way he looked in his prime. That to me, that this is my first time seeing that. But it was still a nice. It was nice to see him, take part in this movie, and it was nice to see him go toe to toe with the Italian stallion. To the point where Rocky literally had to take off his gloves and go in and fight him fist to fist essentially. Um, the other gripe that I have with this movie is the beginning part with Paulie. As it's going through the montage of, Rocky doing all these fights, we see Paulie kind of, being not happy. And that kind of, to me, takes away from his character from the first two. The way he acted, being upset with all that Rocky has, the fame, the fortune, and all that, and he feels resentful. That to me does not fit Paulie's character. Going off of my memory from the first two movies, Paulie was a one of Rocky's closest and best friends. So to see him do that in the beginning of this movie kind of just didn't sit right with me. But overall, I really love this movie. And I suppose as well, now that I'm, 7 minutes in, we should talk about the actual boxing itself. Because that was one of the things that I had the issue with in the second movie was that the fact that Rocky, for the first couple of rounds, was eating the hits. He was allowing himself to get hit. The first fight between Rocky and Clubber, I really liked. I thought it went really well. And the same with the second fight, the rematch. I thought that was pretty good as well. So overall, I'm very happy to have watched the third installment for the Rocky franchise. I am looking forward to giving Rocky 4, Rocky Balboa a shot, and then, of course, going into the 3 Creed films as of recording this. So let me know what you thought of the third Rocky down in the comments below. For me right now, I would say it's my favorite out of the 3 is the original Rocky, followed by Rocky 3, and then Rocky 2. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. The next video is actually going to be the final Doctor Who series reviews, where I'm going to be covering Series 10. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all for that video on Friday.